नमस्कार, आपका फिर से स्वागत है सीटेट प्रिपरेशन सीरीज में। तो मैं श्वेता, सीनियर रिसर्च फेलो RI मैसूर से आपके सामने अभी चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट एंड पेडागोजी का एक टॉपिक लेके आई हूँ। द टॉपिक नेम इज चाइल्ड एज ए प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर एंड साइंटिफिक इन्वेस्टिगेटर। तो हम देखते हैं कि इस टॉपिक से क्वेश्चंस कैसे पूछे गए थे 2012 से लेके 2026 तक। सो पहले हम देखते हैं कि कितने कंसिस्टेंसी से क्वेश्चंस आए थे। So most of the questions regularly पूछे गए थे इस टॉपिक से, and the questions were majorly focusing on how children process information and tackle obstacles. So the topic here is, as we have discussing, child as a problem solver. ये बहुत ही important topic है क्योंकि the major aim is we have to develop problem solving skills in them and we have to develop curiosity, वो scientific temper, all this can happen through this one. So this is a very important topic in that case, and there were questions being repeated from this topic in every paper. So questions कैसे repeat हो रहे हैं, कौन से topics ज़्यादा पूछे जा रहे थे। तो the key focus areas in this paper that was being asked frequently was regarding problem solving process. What are the steps that are being used to solve the problem? और what are the types of problem solving techniques that are there? जैसे कि algorithms एक टेक्निक है, heuristics is one technique, means and ends एक टेक्निक है, जैसे बहुत सारे टेक्निक्स है जो हम देखेंगे आगे आगे। So what we'll do is we'll learn about all these things एक एक करके हम क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करके है और उसका कॉन्सेप्ट भी सीखते हैं। Then they also asked about the types of problems, that is there are two types of problems, ill structured and well structured. So there are two kinds of problems. So उसके बारे में पूछा जा रहा था। And they also asked about traits of a child. What are the traits of a child if he's a problem solver? And what are the traits of a child if he's a scientific investigator? So इसके बारे में पूछा जा रहा था. And the basic thing about this whole topic is to make students independent thinkers and to shift the learning from rote learning towards meaning making and knowledge construction. So this is a major aspect and major thing about this topic. So आगे चलते हैं. We'll try to understand the important topics from this important concepts from this topic. So पहले हमको ये जानना है कि what is problem solving. So what is problem solving? It's like arriving at solutions after you understanding how many steps are there to solve your problem. It's like आप किसी हल तक पहुंचते हो, हल तक पहुंचने के लिए क्या क्या करना पड़ता है, वो होता है problem solving, simple basic thing. And problem solving is very much important, and problem solving doesn't only mean that maths का problem solve करना, science का solve करना, no, this has major aspects to the students real life also. जैसे कि friends के में झगड़ा हो गया या फिर real life में कुछ problem है, कैसे solve करोगे, all these questions also will be asked depending on the situation or the aspect. Then there is something called as problem solving methods, as I was talking to you. So problem solving methods में there are step based problem solving methods where you will break your problem, you will analyze your problem. Analyze करने से पहले क्या करना पड़ेगा, आपको problem को identify करना पड़ेगा. So after identify the problem, analyze your problem, what is exact problem, आप थोड़े steps follow करोगे problem का solution तक पहुंचने के, that is step based. And there is something called as algorithms. अब ये algorithms क्या है? Algorithm is nothing but there are set of rules that you have to follow to solve your problem. अब ये set of rules में you can also have एक ऐसा example ले सकते हैं कि आप एक problem को solve करने के लिए you might have some hypothesis. Hypothesis क्या है? मतलब एक ऐसे करेंगे तो ऐसा होगा. One kind of assumption you might have. तो assumptions के हिसाब से you will go on solving the problem. And there is something called as heuristics. So heuristics nothing but self-discovery. The student will learn to solve the problem by themselves. Either it can be through their self-discovery, through their intuition, through their previous knowledge, कुछ भी हो, they'll try to solve those problems. So these are some methods of problem solving. और आगे भी है, हम देखेंगे क्या क्या है. And there is something called as types of problems, which is ill-structured. The second one is well-structured. So ill structure का मतलब ये होता है कि आप the problem is very ambiguous. You will not be able to point out what is the problem clearly. And इसलिए जब इस जैसे problems के लिए you don't have a definite solution, मतलब ये करोगे तो पक्का ये problem solve होगा करके कोई solution नहीं होता. There are different ways in which you can tackle this ill-structured problem. There is a method called as means and ends also, which is very useful for this ill-structured problem. तो वैसे होता है, and there is something called as well-structured problem. The name itself says it's well-structured problem, तो it's the problem here is clear. Clear cut दिखता है कि problem क्या है, and हम देखेंगे कि what all steps we can follow to solve that problem. That's well-structured problem. And well-structured problem के लिए आप example ले सकते हैं, कोई science का example ले सकते हैं, कोई experiment का example ले सकते हैं, और कोई classroom activity का example ले सकते हैं where you pose a problem in front of students and based on that solving the problem they develop certain knowledge based on that. So all these can be done in well-structured problem. So what are the classroom strategies that can be done for this problem solving? So पहले first most important thing is analyzing the problem. So the important aspect, that is step 1, that is nothing but identify and analyze the problem. And after analyzing, you can give students steps like working backwards. Like आपको solution पता है, मुझे ये चाहिए, तो आप backwards work करके आपके problem को solve कर सकते हो. That is one more thing. And there is something called as using analogical thinking. Analogy मतलब ऐसे ही पहले एक और बार हुआ था, एक ऐसे ही सिमिलर प्रॉब्लम को आपने सॉल्व किया था, तो यूजिंग दोज पास्ट एक्सपीरियंसेस यू विल बी सॉल्विंग दिस न्यू काइंड ऑफ प्रॉब्लम विच इज सिमिलर टू द ओल्ड वन. तो इसे बोलते हैं एनालॉजिकल थिंकिंग. एंड देयर इज समथिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इन दिस टॉपिक, दैट इज ट्रेट्स ऑफ अ प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर. सो ट्रेट्स मतलब व्हाट आर द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ अ प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर. सो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर हैज टू बी सेल्फ डिपेंडेंट, then only he can solve his own problems, right? So the major motto is to make them independent thinkers. So that is the one, and to make them make the rational thinking more, and to develop their resilience. Resilience मतलब no matter how many times you fall down, you have to bounce back, and you have to try multiple times. That's the spirit, and that's a thing that has to be nurtured in every student irrespective of subject. It's in the real life also. And there are some traits of investigator. So investigator, like scientific investigator का हम बात करें तो a scientific investigator needs to be persistent in his efforts. He can't live in between. He has to be persistent till he reaches the goal. That's the persistence. And next is curiosity. Curiosity is like you have to go on exploring and asking the questions why till you get the answers. That is the major thing, that is curiosity. And next one is self-motivation. That is very much needed to have this trait of investigator. Then focus, which is yes needed. Focus is required. And imaginative. They have to be so imaginative and so creative for us to be investigators. So all these traits are expected to be developed in a child using the subjects or in hidden curriculum. So these are the aspects or important concepts from this topic. So अभी हम देखते हैं in detail what are the classroom strategies for problem solving. This major thing in this concept also, because यहाँ से भी questions पूछे जाएंगे. As I told, there are only questions, they are not only questions based on concept but based on how in classroom you will nurture this problem solving skills in them. So as I told, analyze the problem. So in analyzing the problem, what we'll do, we'll break the problem into small parts, small manageable parts, and try to understand each part and make sure to do what is needed. तो पहले हम analyze करके हम उसको छोटे छोटे हिस्सों में बांटेंगे. That is analyzing the problem. So in this case, the role of a teacher का क्या कर्तव्य है? The role of a teacher is to guide the students, not to give them answers. We have to keep the answers to ourselves and we have to guide the students. And we have to give them hints, prompts, but not the correct answer. And we have to help them in their problem solving, but not solve the problem for them. That's the major aspect of a teacher. And we have to also make sure we give them that environment wherein they can nurture their problem solving skills. So next one is the algorithm method that I have told you just now. We have discussed in a short, but we'll discuss in detail now. As I told, algorithm method is like आपके पास एक problem है. उस problem को solve करने के लिए there are either set of rules to solve a problem. Like अभी if there is a problem in a system and all, like computer में कोई problem हुआ, कहीं और problem हुआ, they tell you to follow certain steps. Then your problem will rectify करके कुछ help रखा. So there is an algorithmic approach where you have to follow certain steps to solve your problem. And also in algorithm approach, it also happens that we can also have certain assumptions on each stage. Like yes or no, we have to cross our assumptions and we have to go on answering our solving our problem. The next one is heuristic method. This can be used in classroom very well, and even algorithm method can be used in classroom very well if the teacher plans it according to the content. So heuristic method is you have to give the students the freedom to discover by themselves and you have to guide them. And here in this aspect, they learn by themselves. They know how to, we have to facilitate them in understanding how to solve that problem. And next is analogical thinking. As I told you, analogical thinking is nothing but when they face a similar kind of problem which they might have encountered in their previous time, they might remember the lesson or how to solve that problem. So they use the same knowledge and solve this kind of problem. So that is nothing but called as analogical thinking. It is there in the name itself, analogical. And historic matlab self-discovery. You can remember this is self-discovery. And algorithm is nothing but you can remember like algorithm is set of rules or steps. So you can remember the names of all of this with these keywords. Where algorithm means set of steps or rules. Heuristic is self-discovery. Analogical is analogy, giving an analogy of a major issue. Like using your previous or similar kind of problem, you try to solve the new problem. This is analogical one. And here, the role of a teacher is much specified and much talked about in this classroom strategies. The teacher should guide them, should facilitate them, and should not give them direct answers. Then only we can make them problem solvers, right? So, हम अभी आगे जाते हैं. We'll now see the questions one by one, and then we'll try to understand हम कैसे solve कर सकते हैं और इसका content क्या है. Okay? So let's see. Now we have the question from CTET June 2012 and November 2013. Same concept repeat हुआ था. So the question is, the question was not repeated, the concept was repeated. Okay. The self-regulation of learners refers to, see, two questions are written here. Self-regulation of learners refers to was a question asked once. What does self-regulation of learners mean? So I have put these two questions for you here. So यहाँ पे self-regulation का मतलब क्या है? So here self-regulation. So let us try to understand what is self-regulation. So here self-regulation means a student has to understand how he regulates his own learning, how he tracks, how he understands his own learning. So यहाँ पे देखते हैं, it means the learner can track, assess, adjust their own understanding independently. And those things can be inculcated in students by teacher. So self-regulation is a cognitive process wherein students can track, they can assess and they can adjust according to their own understanding independently. Means abhi, so self-regulation everyone does it right now. So let us see options one by one. The first option is creating regulations for student behavior. By here regulations means rules and here self-regulation is different concept. So these two options don't go together and this first option is not at all defining what you want to define. So we can eliminate the first option, right? Rules and regulations made by the student body, again the same. Here self-regulation is different and rules and regulations are different. So we can eliminate the second option also. Self-discipline and control. Yes, that is part of it but not the exact answer. So even we can eliminate this answer. So self-regulation is the ability to monitor their own learning. Yes, we regulate our own learning depending on what we need and we track ourselves depending on what we need. So the answer is monitoring their own learning. So now what happens is when students have to prepare for an exam, they plan in advance what all concepts they have to cover and then they go for mock tests or something, as even we can go for mock tests now and we'll assess our own learning and depend on that we'll adjust our learning pattern, our learning style. So even we are doing self-regulation. So it's a basic same thing in that. Okay. So हम अगले next question पे चलते हैं. The next question is from CTET July 2013. The question is mastery orientation can be encouraged by. So first of all, what is mastery orientation? एक question को समझना है. So mastery orientation is nothing but how you can improve yourself and your desire to improve. That is the major trait of a problem solver. Okay, a true problem solver focuses on self-improvement and desire to improve. Okay, and the major thing of a problem solver should be he should not compare himself and his own developments to the people around him. And he should not stress himself. See, avoid comparison and rote practice. So that is the one thing. So this is about mastery orientation where you try to improve yourself and your desire to improve and work will be high. That is mastery orientation. So how can this mastery orientation be encouraged? That is focus on students' individual effort. That can be done. Next option also we'll see. Okay, comparing student success with others, which we should not do. Just now we have discussed that we should not compare anyone's student success with each other. That is not mastery orientation. Okay. Next is assigning a lot of practice papers as home assignments. No. Even if you give lot of papers for them to solve, if they don't have the will to self-improve, nothing can happen. So this is also not an answer. Taking unexpected tests, surprise tests and all will not be a master orientation. So हम ऐसे ही option 1 को choose कर सकते हैं. Okay. So the master orientation is a trait of a problem solver which is desire for a student to improve himself. With that only problem solving skills also might improve. So हम next पे चलते हैं. So next question here we have is from CTET 2014. So the question here is, problem solving is more likely to succeed in schools where? They're asking, यह पूछ रहा है कि problem solving will work in which kind of schools or which kind of places. So हम देखते हैं. As you know, problem solving has certain types, right? We have talked about the types of all the problem solving. So where it is likely to succeed more? That is the question. The first option is the emphasis is only on higher order academic achievement. Only having the emphasis on higher order thinking skills and academic achievement might not make them have high problem solving skills or normal problem solving skills. So this cannot be your option. Teacher centric pedagogy in effect, which means it is teacher centered learning where teacher tells everything. Like teacher plans the whole class, she comes and gives a lecture about it. It's a teacher centered pedagogy, which we told will not work every time, because problem solving skills will not be developed like this. Problem solving skills will be developed when students are given a chance, right? Then third option is flexible curriculum in place. Yes, and this is the right option. Flexible curriculum is nothing but where there is freedom to adapt to the learning, where there is freedom and that much autonomy, where students have the power to know what they are learning. And the fourth option is homogeneous group of students are present. No, even if in a classroom there are similar kind of students with same level of intelligence also, the problem solving skills will not improve. So even we can eliminate this option. So if we are not knowing the correct option, we can go by eliminating the option. So here also if you see again, if you go back and see, the emphasis only on higher order and academic achievement, no, that cannot be an answer, because only that will not develop problem solving skills in students. Teacher centered pedagogy, as we talked about, is a very old old practice thing. Now we have moved to child centered learning, wherein children are given freedom, their own their learning is designed according to child's needs. Then homogeneous group of students are present. Even if we have all students, homogeneous is similar kind of people. See, homogeneous is similar kind of people where same thinking or similar level of intelligence levels are there also. Problem solving skills is likely to not succeed in those areas. So you need to have a flexible curriculum, and flexible curriculum in it tells that it is flexible, it is freedom. So children can learn by themselves, or they're encouraged to learn by themselves, like heuristics, their self-discovery can be done, imagination can be done, they can have multiple attempts to learn, to find solutions. So this is about the flexible curriculum. So this is also a part of problem solving. And let us move to the next question that we have. So next question here is from CTET 2015. So now we have a question is, how can teachers help children become better problem solvers? See, just now we have been discussing about the classroom strategies of problem solving. So here we are with the question here, how can teachers help children become better problem solvers? So जब भी हम ऐसे टॉपिक्स प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं, we have to prepare along with the mindset of a teacher also. जब हम content पढ़ रहे हैं, the content here is now about child as a problem solver and investigator. So not only the content, we have to also reflect and introspect on ourselves. Then we will be able to answer most of the questions. So, and most of the questions will be asked not on factual knowledge, but on how you apply it in the classroom. So here we have a question. How can teachers help students become better problem solvers? So what can be done? As we have discussed earlier, teacher has to facilitate. They have to guide them, not give them exact answers. And sometimes we should not give them answers from textbook also. Whenever they ask it out, we have to make sure you question them back and let them think about it. Then come back, then have a discussion about it. So all these things can be, rather than giving a straightforward one kind of answer where the thinking or imagination is lost. So all these things can be done. And this helps them to become self-dependent, which we are talking about as a trait of a problem solver. Let us go by seeing the options. So पहला option है, by giving children a variety of problems to solve and support while solving them. This can be done. जैसे कि इवन क्लास में भी करते हो, मैथ्स क्लास में करते हो, साइंस क्लास में करते हो, इवन साइंस जब एक्सपेरिमेंट्स चलते हैं, इवन व्हेन यू गिव हैंड्स ऑन एक्टिविटीज टू देम, ऑल दीज थिंग्स कैन बी डन. Like we give them different kind of problems so that they can solve them. In the way we are helping them to learn more and also making them understand how there are different ways to solve problem also. So we are helping them in that way by giving tangible rewards. By giving rewards, can you think we can help them in become problem solvers? We can motivate them, but we cannot help them in that way. So this is also a option we can eliminate. By looking for answers in the textbook. By looking for answer, the textbook is like nothing but giving straight away the answer without letting them think or solve anything. So we can eliminate this option also. By providing correct answers. If we give correct answers, then they will not think only at all. So in this way, we are also hindering their problem solving skills and thinking patterns and curiosity also. Because curiosity is a very much important foundation for problem solving. Right? So now by eliminating the options also, you can choose the correct option. Okay. So here we have with the option for problem solving, and we also talked about how teachers need to facilitate the students to become problem solvers. Okay. So let's move on to the next question. The next question is from CTET September 2016. So the question here is to enable students to think independently and become effective learners, it's important for a teacher too. तो क्वेश्चन पे ये बोला गया था, ये पूछा गया था कि हाउ कैन वी एनेबल स्टूडेंट्स टू थिंक इंडिपेंडेंटली एंड बिकम इफेक्टिव लर्नर्स. सो टीचर का क्या रोल है इसमें? हाउ कैन टीचर मेक श्योर दैट स्टूडेंट्स कैन बिकम like independent thinkers and effective learners? So what role the teacher have? Again we have a teacher kind of question here. So for us to understand that we have to know independent thinking कैसे होता है. And all those things, independent thinking can happen when you give them the opportunity to think, when they get the opportunity, when they have the opportunity to discover learning by themselves, all those things. So हम option में जाते हैं एक एक करके. The पहला option is teach students on how to monitor their own learning. That's a very effective one, as we have told self-regulation. Even that is one of the aspects. This is nothing but called as self-regulation. So we are teaching them how they can monitor their own learning. And in this way, they introspect their own learning, they track their own learning, they know how they can motivate themselves, they can develop their own self-confidence. So all these things can be done. And by doing that, what we can become is, what we can motivate them to be is, they can become active learners from passive learners. So next is offer rewards for each success. For each success, even if you offer rewards, it might not make them independent thinkers, it might motivate them. So this one option is, we can eliminate, because they have to do, it's important for a teacher to do. They have specified it very much. So in this way, we are eliminating the option. The next option is give information in small units. Even if we give information in small units, it will not help them become independent thinkers. So we can eliminate this option. Present information to make it easier to recall. Even this is not an exact option for the answer. So we can eliminate this also. So in this way also, you can select the correct option. And the most important thing is, the whole concept of problem solving talks about how we can foster self-motivation and self-confidence. Because there is a trait about problem solving being discussed, that is they have to come out from their own self-doubt. That is one of the things. So by doing this, you're increasing their self-motivation skills and self-confidence skills. Next is by making them independent thinkers, they'll be effective scientific investigators also. And they'll have their own kind of confidence. So all these things can happen. This is nothing but, as we told in the question itself, it's nothing but called as self-regulation. Okay. So we'll move to the next question. So the next question here is from CTET December 2018. So here is a question here. It's a proper application level question, if you see, and they told us to find out what kind of problem solving method it is. So the question here is, Ravi repairs appliances by testing hypothesis about the cause of malfunction based on his experiences. So what kind of problem solving technique is he using? तो यहाँ पे रवि क्या कर रहा है? रवि he is trying to repair some appliance. कुछ appliance है, so he is trying to repair it. तो अभी हमारा कोई चीज़ खराब हो गया, जैसे कि मोबाइल हुआ, लैपटॉप हुआ, या फिर कुछ भी खराब हुआ, तो हम देखेंगे क्या हुआ, स्क्रीन खराब हुआ है क्या? We'll have certain assumptions, no? क्या इस द बैटरी चला गया क्या, स्क्रीन का कुछ प्रॉब्लम है क्या. सो वन बाय वन हम एजम्पशंस करते हैं. एंड बाय डूइंग दिस what we do is we try to find out the cause behind it. We try to scratch out each of the options and we try to find a solution behind it. So pehle we see what kind of problem solving technique. So before that हम देखते हैं if we can eliminate the options or not. So the first one is algorithms. As I have discussed with you, algorithms is nothing but following a set of rules or set of steps to solve that problem. ठीक है. अगर आपको ये वाला ऑप्शन सही नहीं लग रहा है तो वील गो डाउन बाय एंड ट्राई टू एलिमिनेट द आंसर. ओके. मेंटल सेट इज नॉट अ मेथड, इट्स अ situational strategy. So we can eliminate this option also. And heuristics, as we have talked about, it's self discovery. And यहाँ पे बोला जा रहा है कि he's testing hypothesis behind it based on his experiences. He's not discovering something. So he's not doing discovering based on his intuition or something. So we can eliminate this also. Insight is nothing but some kind of intuition or some kind of already based on knowledge. So we can eliminate this also. So हमारे पास algorithm बचा. Even by eliminating also we'll find out the answers algorithms. Then we'll try to understand what is algorithm approach of solving a problem. So in any problem, what we have to do, we have to analyze the problem. That is, we have to identify the problem. So first we have to identify the problem. Then हम problem को identify, the problem is identified, the phone is not working, something. Then we'll form a hypothesis, that is assumption. One assumption is like, did it run out of battery? Or is something not working? Did the screen is not working? कुछ भी हम assumption ऐसे बनाते हैं. और यहाँ पे appliances काम नहीं कर रहा, टीवी काम नहीं कर रहा, कुछ फ्रिज नहीं काम कर रहा, तो we'll have some kind of assumptions. No, ये है का, is it that, is it this, is it that? So by looking into each one of the hypothesis, we scratch it out. This is not the case, this is not the case. And we test all the hypotheses based on our experience. And then we find out that, okay, because of this appliance was not working. So we find the cause behind it and we fix it. It's nothing but here you follow some set of rules or set of steps. And in algorithms, the basic thing is you test your hypothesis or test your assumption. So when that kind of thing is there, algorithm approaches the answer. Okay. So you can remember algorithm as step-by-step rules to reach a correct and exact solution. So in this case, we have certain cases like well-defined problems wherein you know the exact problem. What is the exact problem? So in that case, algorithm approach can be used very much. Okay. So you can remember algorithm approach as a systematic step-by-step procedure to test hypothesis and reach the correct solution. You can remember it like that. Okay. तो हम आगे जाते हैं. आगे हमारा CTET का 2018 का question है. In that question, they have asked, according to Mann and Janus, decision maker children analyze the problem, list the alternatives, and weigh each option. His behavior deflects. So abhi they have given a set of traits for us, and we have to हमको identify करना है कि इसमें से कौन सा will go with the options, will go with the all the traits given in the question. So कौन सा traits दिए गए हैं? Decision maker children analyze the problem. So one thing is they have given analyze the problem. एक और गया है list the alternatives, which we always do, right? Whenever we have a problem, we list the alternatives. What are the possible alternatives? And we try to see, अगर मैंने alternative A choose किया तो what will be the repercussion? Alternative B choose किया तो what will be the situation? ऐसे हम सब लोग करते हैं. Then we weigh each option. Okay? So now we will see the options which can go right with it. Vigilant. अगर आपको vigilant का meaning उस वक्त याद नहीं आ रहा तो आप लोग छोड़ दीजिए. We'll go for the next option. Outgoing. Outgoing is a social trait. जैसे he is very outgoing, introvert, extrovert, वो वाला trait होता है. So this has nothing to do with decision making. So we can eliminate this option, right? अब autocratic. Autocratic is a leadership style wherein the power lies with the leader. So here is not the place for this answer. So we can eliminate this option. Then comes surveillance. Surveillance is nothing but observing where the, like even CCTV footage can also be called as surveillance. So it is like observing and doing. It has nothing to do with the whatever discussion was made. So ऐसे हम eliminate करके हम सही ऑप्शन तक पहुंच सकते हैं अगर आपको उस शब्द का उस वक्त का मीनिंग याद नहीं आ रहा तो. ओके. So this is how we can also answer these questions. So before going into the next question, I would like to discuss the Mann-Janus approach of problem solving. So in this one, as we told, First, in every problem solving technique, the first step is the first same. You have to first identify the problem. So after identifying the problem, we have to list the alternatives. Alternatives 1 to 10 हो सकते हैं, 1 to 3 हो सकते हैं और एक ही भी हो सकते हैं कभी कभार. Then we have to weigh each response against each other. अगर आपके पास कोई 4 alternative हो गया, so if you have 4 alternatives, you have to weigh your options 1 versus 3 का क्या होगा, 1 versus 4 का क्या होगा, कौन सा option better है. Then after weighing all your options, you will choose the best option, the best alternative. That is the Mann-Janis approach. Okay, so by doing this, you exactly know that you have already thought about all the alternatives. So even this thinking can be nurtured in children also. So the vigilant decision maker carefully evaluates before making the best choice. That is the vigilant. See here, if you see that vigilant and surveillance both have a similar meaning, but vigilant is nothing but a person who is here vigilant has to do with more with surveillance, that is the decision making. So you can take this as vigilant. Even sometimes it's a vigilant mindset and all, because they are able to think and analyze things carefully. So based on this also you can answer the question. So हम अगले क्वेश्चन पे चलते हैं. So next question here we have is from CTET December 2019. So the question here is an example of effective problem solving strategy is. Okay. So in this questions we have to find out what is the effective problem solving strategy. Okay. So options क्या है देखते हैं. Not paying attention to evaluation. This doesn't do justice to the problem solving strategy. So we can eliminate this option. Functional fixedness. So functional fixedness is nothing but you are stuck in between. You don't know how to solve a problem. It happens with everyone. We are stuck in between a phase where you have identified the problem and you don't know how to go to the solution. So that is functional fixedness. It happens. So it doesn't happen. It's not an example of effective problem solving. It's an ulta example. If they would have asked you an example of not effective problem, then this would have been the answer. So I'm eliminating this option. Response set. Just responses will not be effective problem solving strategy. So you can also eliminate this option. So now we are left with the fourth option, is means ends analysis, dividing the problems into number of sub goals. Usually the answer was still here, means ends analysis. I have given the description there. So what is means ends analysis? So if you remember, we have talked about types of problems. In that we talked about how there are two kinds of problems, ill structured and well structured. So ill structured problems क्या होते हैं, जहाँ पे the problem itself is too ambiguous. It doesn't have an exact solution for it. Exact solution मतलब यहाँ पे आप एक example ले सकते हो कि yeah. So then we can talk about well-structured problem also. So well-structured problem is like a definite, you know the problem, आपको definite solution भी पता है उस चीज़ का. You have exact solution also. And now this has to do with the well-structured problem. So in well-structured problem, we know the problem. And now what happens here is, you can divide, means is the starting point and end is the ending point. So बीच में जो है आप छोटे छोटे टुकड़ों में उसे बांट के you can analyze each of them one by one. This is nothing but called as means ends analysis. So mean analysis is a step-by-step approach that moves from current state to the goal by achieving a series of sub-goals. Now you are at a stage of 3 or 4. आपको stage 10 तक जाना है. That is where you can solve your problem, for example. So now what you will do is, whatever आप stage 2 पे stage 10, those are the distance between that, your current state and your expected aim or goal. Now you divide your distance into small parts. So yeah, small parts का मतलब क्या है, you will keep some small attainable goals. So you attain one by one. At the end you will reach your main goal. This is the example of mean end analysis. And so here we have an example also. If you have a goal of repairing a toy car, first you identify why the car is not moving. Then you will check if you'll check the battery. Then you'll go by checking battery काम कर रहा है कि नहीं. Then you check the wheels. If there's something stuck in the wheels, then you know there's something there. You'll solve the problem and you'll do it. So यहाँ पे means is nothing but car is not moving. That is your current position, right? You want to solve that. आपका end goal क्या है? You want to repair the car. So बीच में what all things come up, you just divide into subsets. Each goal you just go on achieving one by one, आप goal तक पहुंच जाओगे. So this one means and analysis which was asked recently, and आपको याद होगा तो मैन जैनिस का भी हमने याद किया था, तो ये दोनों आप याद रख लेना, पूछ लिया, it was asked recently. So ये हो गया, तो हम अगले क्वेश्चन पे चलते हैं. The next question is from Jan 2022. So the question is about in order to enhance problem solving skills of students, which is a good strategy. जैसे हम बात कर रहे classroom studies के बारे में बात कर रहे थे, this comes under that kind of category. So the question here is asked is how can you enhance problem solving skills of students using which strategy? Okay, so हम options देखते हैं एक एक करके. Create situations that demand application of knowledge. Yes, that's the right answer. So अगर आपको ये आंसर पता है, we can go by eliminating the answer also. Second option is rote memorizing facts. By rote memorizing facts will not be able to enhance any problem solving skills. So you can eliminate this option also. Copy written information. No, even that is also, that doesn't do justice. Teach content for good marks. No, even this is not a good one. So you can eliminate the distractors and you can go to the right option also. So again, we'll go back to the concept of how you can enhance problem solving skills of students using what's a good strategy that you can do. So what you can do is, now we can see an example here. How can we save water in our school? The problem is water shortage, or how we have to preserve water, conserve water. So identify the problem. You will sit and brainstorm with students about the ways in which you can conserve water in your place or in your school. Then you will get a list of solutions or list of ways in which you can conserve or do something about it. Because class में बहुत सारे बच्चे होते हैं, everyone will have different opinions about each issue. So ऐसे आप you evaluate all the options, कौन सा सही होगा. Then you choose and implement the best one. So in this way, what you will do is, आप एक situation create कर रहे हो class में. You are giving the opportunity. That thought provoking situation आप दे रहे हो class में. So by this, you're indirectly making students to come and solve that problem. So you're indirectly making them think, ask questions around, observe things around. So even there are some situations also where you can use, like how you can design a waste management system in your school. How do you plan for the budget of, if you want to go to a trip, in a school trip, how you can plan the budget. कुछ भी करके you can teach some topics using this. The major thing is we have to create situations in which there is need for how the knowledge can be applied here. So and one major thing is, anywhere if you find rote memorization facts, you can eliminate that option, because this is not the right option. So you can eliminate this option wherever you find. Okay, so we'll move to the next question. And this is one more concept that's repeated in Jan 2026. As we have talked about functional fixedness, this was the concept being talked about in both the years. Even we discussed it just now, just before. So the question is like, which of the following steps is likely to hinder problem solving skills among students? And then our question again asked was, the process of problem solving are hindered by. So what things do you think will hinder the problem solving? So this is the question. So हम अभी जाते हैं options में. Activating schema. Activating schema is nothing but what all previous knowledge you have regarding that. So previous knowledge will never hinder your problem solving skills. So you can eliminate that option. See, you have to read the question. It's like hinder problem solving skills. So which is stopping from developing problem solving skills. So focusing attention. Yes, we need focused attention when we are solving problems. So this is not hindering. Okay. The next option is getting stuck on one fixed way or functional fixedness. This is the right option that we have discussed. As I told you, it is a space where you don't know how to solve a problem. It's like you're stuck in between that. The name itself says functional fixedness. That's the option. And logical thinking, as I told, it's also a process of problem solving. So this is also not a right option. So you can eliminate the option and you can select the right option. So as I told you, functional fixedness is like you block your own imagination. It happens. पता ही नहीं चलता. We block our own imagination, our own desire to improve. See, there is an example here, like a person thinks that hammer can only be used to hammer the nails, not nothing else. We can use hammer to break things also. We can use hammer to take out the nail from the wood also. Like एक चीज का एक ही purpose होता है. That is a stuck thinking that hinders your thinking. Thinking that एक चीज का बहुत ज़्यादा purpose होता है, इसे flexible thinking. that is what helps in your problem solving skills. So functional fixedness के बारे में एक बार देख लीजिएगा आप, because that has been asked recently. Okay, and actually this does limit your creative thinking and other things aspects. So हम next question पे जाते हैं. So next question is the recent one asked question. An effective strategy for solving ill-defined problems is, which I have talked right now. So ill-defined problems को solve करने के लिए कौन सा तरीका इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए? Focusing on functional fixedness? No, we should not focus on functional fixedness because it will not let us lead us anywhere. Algorithms is nothing but step by step. Step by step are good for well-defined problems, not for ill-defined problems. So you can remove this. Learning by rote, I told anywhere rote you find, you can remove that one. So by this way you can eliminate your options and go to your right option. Okay, so any ill-defined problem are there, or even means and analysis also can be, even heuristic also is the best example for ill-defined problems or ill-structured problems. So all this can be done. So I have already discussed in ill-structured problem, what happens is we define the goal. First we want to know we want to know how to solve this problem. जैसे कि we want to decide how to reduce plastic in our locality. So we know the current we know our gap, what is the current state and what we have to achieve. Okay, then based on that we find resources, how to reduce plastic, how to reuse plastic and all. We work on step by step process, and then slowly by achieving small goals we try to achieve the bigger goal. Okay, so you can remember means ends analysis as breaking a complex unclear problem. It's an unclear problem, not a clear problem. Unclear problem into, or ambiguous problem into different smaller doable goals. Okay, so this is about that. Then again there is one more question asked recently. Which of the following hinders problem solving? Again the same thing. Fixating on a single trait of composite problem. See, again the thing same. Fixation is it's like you prevent yourself from exploring different kinds of alternative solutions. You stick like is problem का कोई solution नहीं है, only this is the only way possible. No, that is what you hinder yourself. That is fixedness. So by doing this, you're damaging your own creativity, all these things. So just remember, this is the very important topic. And any problem solving strategy requires us to generate certain steps in that, breaking down large problems into small manageable problems. Either you have to apply heuristics or algorithms depending on the need of it, and you will do it. Then let us come back, let us do a quick revision about what all things we have done. So पहले we have talked about what is problem solving and how to break it down into clear and understandable problems, and we also talked about types of problems we have, ill-defined, ill-structured problems and well-structured problems, and we talked about how we have different types of problem solving, that is heuristics, we have analogical thinking, we have algorithms, we have means and ends we have, and we also talked about how traits of a problem solver should be there, and how the traits of a scientific investigator. We have talked about all these things. And as I told, anywhere if you find words like rote memorization, functional fixedness, teacher-centered learning, all these are things that are wrong options depending on the question. If the question says not, then these might be the right options. If the question says identify the one which promotes problem solving, then these are the ones we should neglect. These are the wrong options. So now this is the whole concept and the questions asked based on this concept of child as a problem solver and scientific investigator. So we have come across all the summary and all. So okay, so let's come to the end of it, and I'll again meet you in the next session. Thank you.